Just have a look at that. It's hard to tell where the sky stops and the water begins. I can see way out in the distance there somewhere a bunch of kayakers. And this area is really like a paddler's paradise because each one of these little islands is great. You can just pull your kayak up, set up your tent, and you got yourself a camping spot. The rock is kind of hard on the back, so you want to have a good sleeping pad. Been there, done that. And it's funny, in the summertime, the rocks just hold the heat, so you set your tent up and you're laying there, and it's like you're laying on a big hot stone, so you don't have to worry about getting cold at night anyways. So every day, Frank is making us these little buns. He bakes them right in his boat. And so Brian does the Uber Eats delivery in the dinghy, brings them around to all of the fleet here. So it's bun delivery time. All right, here comes the bun delivery man with today's fresh baked bread. We got 2 each?
Yes.
All right.
Frank is the best.
Thank you, sir. Woo, still hot, right out of the oven. Look at that. Home cooked goodness. All right, so that little cove we were just in, we call Sterncleat Cove. There's all kinds of little coves and inlets and stuff around here that don't have actual official names. So we name them all ourselves and write them all on our charts so that we know what we're talking about amongst ourselves. Anyway, it's called Sterncleat Cove because one time I was up here, this is years ago, with a Wayfarer, and I'd installed stern cleats on it. And at the time I was installing them, I thought, I don't know if I should be doing this because the main sheet's going to get caught in it, and, blah, blah, blah. But then I thought, it'd be great to have for anchoring, etc., etc. But anyway, so I installed them, and I thought, I'll just have to be careful. Well, sure enough, I was coming up in between these islands here, and didn't I get the main sheet caught? And we were, I think, probably on the first day of the trip. And so I was loaded down with a week's worth of stuff in a Wayfarer by myself. And I get hit by this gust of wind, and the main sheet gets caught in the cleat. And I went right up on the rail and almost dumped. I was standing on the other seat, and I was lucky I just was able to get it to flatten itself out again. But man, I nearly filled my drawers. So I was so mad at myself that we pulled into that little cove there, and I took a saw and I cut the ends off of the cleats, and that's why we call that Sterncleat Cove. So anyway, there's the story. So part of my goal here for this week and a half is to just to try out the Potter and see how much stuff I need to take, how much stuff I should take. Things that have been on my list for years that I have been taking that I really don't need anymore. And I'm always trying to sharpen up that list. Again, this is a pretty small boat with a pretty small cabin. The tent that I've put together has been a really good addition because, again, at nighttime I'm able to dump a whole bunch of stuff out here into the cockpit, and leaves me a lot of space inside for snoozing. So anyway, I'm making up my list of things that I want to improve, things I want to change, things I want to add to the boat. So little things like I want to put some anti-skid on the roof of the boat, up on the top of the cabin. I want to build myself a little spot to keep my phone and my GPS, etc., those types of things. And I saw that Sean Payment had a little device that he built that kind of went down here. So I might do something along those lines. And anyways, just lots of little ideas. But I wanted to get a feel for the boat for this extended length of time. For when we do our longer trip. We've got the Manitoulin 250 coming up this year, and that's going to be probably 10 days in this boat. Hopefully it could be as long as 2 weeks. So anyway, a little bit of an extended trip, and I'm staying on the boat for the entire time, so I haven't gotten off the boat, not even to go ashore for anything. So finally able to turn off the outboard, which is great. Don't have to listen to that anymore. Outboards are great to have when you need them. Kind of like lawyers. But you don't want to deal with them when you don't. Nice little bit of wing and wing here. Just a lovely breeze here now, and nice broad reach. See the lighthouse off in the distance. And off to the right, I'm not sure if you can make it out, there's another lighthouse, and that's a Coast Guard station up there. So the other guys motored on ahead off to the next anchorage. And I'm just going to stay out here and sail some more. I got a ways to go. I decided just to sail the whole way. One of the guys was leaving, Rick. He had to get back for work. And so yeah, I'm just going to enjoy this sail. It's just too nice. Nice and sunny again. The boat's got that nice little chuckle sound, you know? I call that the chuckle speed, when you can hear the water just kind of gurgling around you. Got my big sweater on over top of my life jacket just to stay warm. The air's still cool coming off the bay here because the water's still pretty cold. And when that cloud covers the sun, I'll be sure notice the temperature difference. Well, here's another one of our little spots. This one we call Little Italy just because it's shaped like a boot. And for dinner tonight, we got a specialty. We got fried potatoes. They come in a can, and then we slice them up and fry them in lots of butter. Good. And we're also gonna have, to go with that, some ham, flakes of ham, and possibly even some corn. Where did my corn go? Look at that. All right, so we're getting a visit from the local snapping turtle here. He is a big boy. He's been visiting all the boats, hoping for some din, some little treats. But look at the size of this guy. I don't know if you can see it or not. But there he is. Look, he's just, hey, got any treats? Got any grapes? Look at all the moss on his back. Yep, he's a big boy. We had one here a few years ago, and I was feeding him wieners from the boat, and he'd take the whole wiener. Look at his claws on them underneath. Talking about prehistoric looking, eh? Anyway, this guy took the whole wiener and he swam away. Looked like Groucho Marx with a big cigar sticking out of his mouth. My buddy Peter and I were watching him for quite a long time. And there's a little painted turtle swimming around. And here comes the big brother, the other guy. I don't know if you can see him or not. But I dumped some flakes of ham into the water here a little while ago. And they might be interested in that. The little guy's going after that. The big one's just coming over to have another look at my boat. Hopefully he doesn't want to eat my boat. Here, you'll see them both in a second. Here comes the big one. Oh, he's heading right over. The little one's heading over. Don't eat him. Don't do it. All right. The little painted turtle's going right with the big snapping turtle. Look at them. There's the two of them here side by side. Looks like the little guy wants to get on the other one's back. Look at that. Isn't that cool? He's just waiting here for a little snack or something. You do not want to put your finger down because it would be gone. Here's the little one. It's like, hey, there's flakes of ham down here. He's got to be, from his nose to his tail, about 3.5 feet long. That shell's about 2 feet anyway, I guess. Well, good morning everyone. Here we are, another gray and kind of misty day. Had a fair amount of rain last night, but that's okay. Got a little bit of a breeze. Probably get some sailing in here. Not made of sugar, we're not going to melt. Anyway, we're going to swing over and meet up with our buddy Jim. Drove all the way up here and quite a distance to meet up with us. He had trailer issues last night. His phone got soaked. It won't charge. Anyway, one great big thing after another, but man, this guy's solid. He's got the commitment. He's here, so we're just gonna zip over and meet up with him. He's got a little Nordica 16, beautiful little boat. He just bought it this year, and so it'll be, I think, his first overnighter trip in it. A decent little breeze here to start the day. Looks like we got more rain coming though, well, that's okay. Hear that hull just chuckling in the water there? I love it. Hey!
Very bright today.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
You don't realize when you're wearing one of those how visible you are in a tremendous distance.
Right?
That's the first thing I saw of your boat was this funny color, and then there was this sort of dark red below it.
It's the way to do it.
Well, my phone went into a puddle, so I can't charge it.
We're underway. Just going to clear the rocks here, and then the motors are coming up. All right, here we go. Look at that. That just sails beautifully.
Underneath the yellow, Kelly.
Points nicely. It's nice and quick. This visibility is down to about 100 yards here. Pretty foggy and misty. So I'm just following the track on the GPS here because I can't see anything. There's no land in sight. Nothing. Anyway, we're good. So all of a sudden these rocks start popping out here. Anyway, I'm just staying right on the track on the GPS, so it should be good, but it's not the kind of day for dead reckoning, if you know what I mean. Well, there we go. It looks like it's easing up a little bit, getting a little bit better visibility right now. Frank's just caught up with me, and I can see Jim and Brian back there somewhere. I saw them a minute ago. They kind of disappeared again. So we had some lunch in a nice little cove here, and now we're gonna head out, just do a little bit of exploring. Might do a little gunk holing around. There's not a lot of wind right now, but we'll see what it's like when we get out there. So here's another example of those Georgian Bay pine trees I was telling you about. You can just see how bent they are, and that's just from the wind coming in off the bay. And over the years, they just grow bent like that. I don't know if it's visible or not, but if you look closely, right about the middle of the screen, there's a big rock there, right around there. And just beside it, you can see the surf breaking. But the weird thing is that you can't actually see the rocks. And they're just barely underneath the surface. And you're sailing along sometimes, and all of a sudden you'll hear a wave break, and I'm always thinking, oh my god, I'm coming up on a rock shoal. But those are pretty dangerous, and they're hidden all over the place up here. Here's another one of those little rock shoals. It just looks like breaking waves. Alrighty, we're getting a few waves rolling here now. Nothing too big, but you can feel it building up a bit. When the wind is from the southwest like this, there's a lot of fetch for these waves to build. And they're not big right now. They're only probably 3 feet at the most. So. Whee! Oh, this is fabulous sailing right now. Little rock and roll here. I got just enough waves to keep things bopping around, enough wind. Beautiful. I don't know if you can see Jim behind you or not. Oh, there he is, yep. He went ahead and then he turned around and now he's coming back up on us again. I think this is going to build into something here later on today. So I didn't hear back from the Coast Guard station. They were going to email me their email address just so I could send them the coordinates of those marks that were missing, the buoys, channel markers. So we're going to stop in here, and I wasn't planning on getting off the boat, but I think it's probably a good idea just to let them know specifically where these marks are missing. Last thing we'd want is somebody to run aground or something unnecessarily. So anyway, we're gonna do that now. All right, good deed of the day is done. Stopped in real quick there, and they came right down from the station and met me at the dock, and that was great. They just stood on my mooring lines for me, two of them, young folks, just a young girl and a young guy. And anyway, showed them on the map, on the chart, where the marks were, and on my GPS. And yeah, they're very appreciative. Real nice young folks. Well, we're all tucked into our little cove here for the night. A nice little spot, and Jim ended up getting a very cool little spot in the rocks there. He's got his own private little cove, and he's tied off to the rocks on each side of him, and one fore and one aft. We're supposed to get a thunderstorm later tonight, so he should be nice and snug in there. All right, so I'm just gonna have myself a little orange here. And it's always nice this time of day. You can just sort of kick back if you're not going sailing, have lunch, and then lots of times I get hit by a sudden gust of nap. So we can just kind of crash for an hour or two, whatever we want. And it's just wonderful just to be able to do whatever you want when you want and not have to worry about hitting any schedules or anything like that. So that's what we're about right now. Having my orange, relaxing. There's a little bit of sun trying to break through here, so it's kind of an undecided weather day. We had a good sail though, so that was nice. The wind started building up, and we started getting a few nice sized rolling waves coming in, and yeah, but since we came in here, it seems to have kind of died down a bit. So anyway, just gonna relax and have my orange. Well, we got a little bit of rain here, so we're all kind of hunkered down after lunch and just enjoying the sound of it. So for tonight's dinner, we're having pasta with Neapolitan sauce. The picture doesn't quite look like what's in the pan, but anyway, we'll see how it is. We got this at Dollarama, believe it or not. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. All right, let's try it out and see how it is. Pretty good. Not bad. I'd have that again, for sure. That was pretty good. You can actually cook this in the bag, just in, put it in hot water and leave it in there for 5 minutes, and and then it's ready. This makes a bit of a mess in the frying pan. I don't know, maybe it's the way I'm cooking it, but I always seem to have stuff stuck to the bottom of my frying pan. So anyway, hopefully it sticks to my ribs too. Well, we had a great little break from the rain during dinner. It was nice. Had a little chat and, from boat to boat here. But now the rain has come back. So it's supposed to get up to about 20 knots, and it looks like it's heading that way right now, out of the north. And then, yeah, we'll have to see what tomorrow's like, but they're calling for 15 knots tomorrow, I think northwest, if I recall. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Well, we got the tent taken down. It started blowing pretty heavy, and the boat was skating all over the place. So I took the tent down because it was just like a big sail, and it was just causing the boat to move around a whole lot. And once I got it down, it settled down quite a bit, the boat, and it seems to be pretty good here now. So I've got a bunch of stuff out in the cockpit, but it's all plastic stuff and stuff that doesn't really matter if it gets wet. So that's okay. I still got enough room in here to move around, and should be good. So hopefully things don't get too hairy canary here tonight. But anyway, I think I'm just gonna sit here in my fancy little chair and read my book for a while. I got this little chair. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's one of those blue folding chairs. I'll take a shot of it when I'm out of the boat, but it works out pretty good. It gives me a little bit of headroom here, and I can kind of lounge back without my head going all crunched in like that. What, did you like that part? Anyway, so it's a pretty comfy way to sit for a while and read a book or just kind of look out the window. You can see Brian's over there. He's got his light on. He's probably reading his book. I think he's got his tent up still, and he's got that boat set up really well. He completely restored it, as I mentioned before, and tore it apart, took the lid off and separated it all, took the deck, like the whole cabin off and everything, and then he made himself this big footwell. And so he's about 6.5 feet tall. I think he's 6'6", and so he can actually sit on the floor, sit up and read down below, and his feet go underneath the cockpit the way he has it set up. It's a really cool setup, and he's added all kinds of ballast to the boat. So initially those boats weigh about, I think, about 480 pounds. This one weighs over 700 now because he's added a whole bunch of ballast, but you can walk anywhere on the side decks of it, whatever you want. And it really is a solid boat. Well, it's still blowing pretty good here. The boat's bouncing around. I got my foul weather gear pants on. I think I'm going to be sleeping in those tonight just in case. I got my jacket ready to go in case I have to go out and deal with any anchor issues. Hopefully I don't. But I got the oars set up on the boat, so if I need to redo any anchor lines or anything like that, I'm hopefully ready to roll. Boat doesn't seem to be skating around quite as much without the tent up, which is good, but I can still feel it kind of weaving back and forth and in the breeze. So anyway, seems like the rain has stopped, so that's one good thing. And the wind's supposed to lighten up to 15 knots by the morning. So hopefully that'll work out, and then we'll be able to get some more sailing in tomorrow.
Oh, just the heat from that stove feels good on the fingers. Nice.
So we just checked the weather, and it's actually blowing about 20 to 25 still. So we're certainly not going to get out on the open water on the bay this morning anyways. It's only 6 degrees as well, not 8. So that's pretty cool. So anyhow, we decided we're going to just kind of hunker down here for a little while, and it's supposed to warm up a little bit more later on today. So and the wind's supposed to go down a bit too. So we'll see how that works out, and we'll just play it by ear. I think I'm gonna have my coffee here in the cabin. I got my down comforter thing on and my big sweater, and yep, stay warm, read a book, take it easy. Well, the sun is breaking through. Still pretty breezy, but that's okay. We'll probably get going here in a little while, but right now it's lunchtime. I'm doing a little bit of chart table cooking here. Got a little peanut butter and jam happening. Alrighty, so the weather's lightened up enough, still blowing pretty good, but enough that we can get out of here anyways. And we're gonna head out and possibly head back to the marina because the weather is a bit sketchy here for the next couple of days. And Jim's got to get back to work, so we figure we'll make a run for it. And yeah, I might just stay the night at the marina tonight. We'll see how it goes. But I'm gonna hit that restaurant for sure, at least for breakfast tomorrow. They get a really good breakfast special, so we're gonna dig into that. It's a little splashy here. A little splish splash show. Ride 'em, cowboy. Yeehaw! Blowing pretty good here. Sailing okay. I got full rig up. It's got to be 20 knots. Well, that was a rather spirited adventure. Lots of fun. The wind was really humming out there. It was good. Anyways, we're just heading into the river here. And yeah, it's turned into a pretty nice day. And there goes the Coast Guard guys. Those are the ones that I saw at the station the other day. Really nice guys. Doing their rounds. All right, we're heading for our ceremonial dinner post-adventure here. Brian is our fancy chauffeur in his woolen sweater. We're warming up finally. But the restaurant was closed, unfortunately, and we were looking forward to the breakfast special tomorrow, but they got a problem with the cooler or something. So anyway, we're going into town and we're gonna grab a bite to eat. So we got more bearing work to do. Dun, dun, dun. It's Super Bearing Man.
Jeez, where did go?
Well, good morning. Oh boy, we stayed at the marina here last night, and went out for a little dinner, as I mentioned. And anyway, it was pretty cool last night. Slept with all my clothes on, and double sleeping bag and the whole deal. So anyway, looks like it's going to be a decent day, but we're getting ready to pull the boats out. Last night we got back from the restaurant, and we were having a look at Jim's trailer, and yeah, the bearings were still in pretty rough shape. So he had fixed it up well enough at the side of the road in a rainstorm to get up here, but yeah, they definitely needed a bit more attention. So Brian threw on the overalls and went for it, and I think he got them all sorted out last night. So yeah, anyway, we're gonna wake up here and drag the boats around and haul them up the ramp on the trailers, and we'll be on the road again. All right, time to get them all set up for the road. Our MicroCruiser adventure. Well, there's another great trip in the books, folks. We had a fantastic time this year. It was good. We got together with a bunch of guys that, old friends, some new guys that came out as well. And it almost worked out to be like 2 trips, because we had, we went out for a number of days, and then we kind of came back and met with Jim and kind of dropped some other guys off that had to get back home. And then we went back out again for a few more days. So we left on Saturday, and today's Sunday. We just pulled out of the water. And so it was great. We really wanted to get out for a bit of a longer trip this time in order to test out some things, how much food, how much space, etc. on the boat. So, you know, 8-9 days, no problem at all on the Potter. You know, just obviously got to get it organized. I've got a
list of different improvements and things that I want to do on the boat, which was again a big part of why I wanted to do this trip. So I'm going to make my little storage unit for the bottom of the hatch. I want to put a tiller extension on. I played around with that tiller tamer a little bit, and it's pretty good actually. So I want to do a few fine-tuning adjustments on that. But it was nice because I was able to, you know, raise my sails much more easily now with the tiller tamer. Because part of the problem that you run into is that, you know, as soon as you start raising the sails and the boat's veering off course and it's jibing and stuff, I can set the motor, set that tiller tamer in place, and it keeps it pretty close head to wind, so it's much more predictable, much easier, and quite a bit safer that way also. Further, I want to set up some different storage situations down below, but there's a lot more room in there than you'd think. There is quite a bit of space underneath the seats, so normally like where you'd have a quarter berth kind of a thing, you can slide stuff in under there, and so I made good use of that. And I'm going to be getting rid of a bunch of stuff too later in the summer, right? I'm not going to have my survival suit with me. I won't have the extra comforter with me, etc., etc. So I'm going to be able to trim that down. So I feel pretty confident that I could probably do 2 weeks on that boat without ever getting off the boat. So when people say, oh, you know, potters, they're only good for day sailing or at most an overnight, I think they're really underestimating what you can get done with a boat like this. So that's it for this time, folks. Until we see you next time, keep smiling, keep sailing, get your potter on the water. Bye for now.